Latino community have to understand is that nothing has been done for us. I use this example a lot when I'm speaking publicly in the political arena, that I tell people that a very good example is look at the Vietnamese community that came into Houston and the United States. You look at a community like them, and then they were followed by a lot of Chinese. They settled in the Bel Air area, and I tell people, you fast forward, 10, 15 years later, and you drive down Bel Air Boulevard, and you have street signs that are in multiple languages. You have silver, beautiful bus stops with lights, and I tell people, go to the barrio, go to navigation. And we've been here for centuries. And what have our political leaders done for the barrio? Nothing. But as Hispanics, we're just so complacent that all someone has to do is get out there and campaign like Sheila Jackson does and say, this is not only for my community, it's for my Latino brothers and sisters too. That's all they have to do, is throw that little breadcrumb and everybody follows. Oh, that's who we need to go because they're doing things for us. Yes, they are doing things, but not for our community. And people have to start realizing that the Democratic Party is not the party for Hispanics. At this time, again, we have such a variation of candidates here. I'm very proud to introduce to you another old friend of mine from the political world who is running for mayor of the city of Houston, MJ Kahn. It has a little clip on the back. You can clip it on your belt.
Yeah. I'm technologically challenged.
See, us older people. It's the technology, we're not used to it.
Good afternoon. I'm so honored to be here, and really thank you for letting me know yesterday about this. It's probably one of the best way for me to spend Saturday, because I get to meet so many people, and I got this vibration of connection and love. So thank you from bottom of my heart, My name is MJ Kahn. I'm running for the mayor of Houston. I served in Houston City Council for 6 years, and I represented District F, which is the most diverse district of Houston, which includes Alief, Sharpstown, and Gulfton. And Gulfton, has a lot of our Hispanic brothers and sisters live there. And at that time also, Gulfton has tremendous issues. Okay, they were waiting for this multicultural center, which was on the books for decades, and city would never fund it. They had a crime problem. They had, Gulfton is the most walkable city in the neighborhood in the city, by the way. They didn't have enough sidewalks, and people were not feeling safe, and traffic and all that, the lanes, all that. But I worked hard. I used to call, when I got on the city council, I used to tell everybody, hey, F stands for Forgotten District, and that has to change. And even though I was known, throughout my life, I'm a lifelong conservative Republican. I was known as a conservative member of the council, of the city council. But I know how to work with people. But because I spent all my life in business, and those of you who are in business, you don't know what kind of customer you're going to get. You have to work with everybody to make your business successful. So that is what I did. I worked with the mayor. Bill White was the mayor. We had great relationship, all the other council members, and we got a lot of resources for District F. We got the multicultural center. We got a new park in that district. We improved the streets. We cleaned up the crime in that area. Bissonnet used to have the same problem, prostitution and human trafficking. We cleaned that up. Now, it's so unfortunate, people are making movies about Bissonnet because it has all this human trafficking and prostitution problem. It's kind of a shame for us as a Houston. So, why I want to run for the mayor? That's the question which everybody's mind, right? I think that our city is not going in the right direction. Our crime rate is way too high. You all want this city to be safe for your families, your kids, your grandkids. You all want safety. Our infrastructure is crumbling. You want that to be fixed, because what happens when you drive on these streets with all these potholes, it's not just that it bothers you, it affects your pocketbook, because your tire life is less, your car is getting broken down too, so all of us are paying lot more than what it would take to fix that, okay? We have our bureaucracy which is too bloated, too inefficient, and a lot of tax dollars are being wasted. We are wasting tax dollars in the city, we are wasting tax dollars in metro and in TERS. All that needs to be changed, I consider any wastage of tax dollar as a form of corruption. It has to stop. When we run the city, we run the city. Bureaucracy has this tendency. If you don't put bureaucracy on a constant diet, it gets bloated, and becomes an inefficient mess. I think that needs to be corrected. We have a lot of opportunities in the city. If you look at the city of Houston, it has so many opportunities. We have the biggest medical center in the world. We have space. We have entrepreneurs from all different communities. We have the most diverse communities in the country, We have science and technology. We have universities. All this should be very attractive for businesses to come and expand our employment base. But what is happening is, because the way city is running, because of our crime situation, because of our traffic problem, businesses people who are even moving to Texas, they're choosing other cities like Austin and Dallas and San Antonio instead of Houston. I want to change that. We want to change that. I want to expand our employment base so that people who are really hard working and want to make an honest living have an employment base they can work. That's how we solve this problem of homelessness, well, besides the mental health issue, but we need to provide employment. We need to expand it. So that is number one reason. Fix the city. We want the city to be safe, prosperous, and clean. When we do that, I have enough experience in the international business areas also. I want to run the city with private sector management philosophies and conservative fiscal policies. I think if we do that, we can save a lot of taxpayers' money, and we can find resources which has to go towards public safety. We have to have more police officers on the street. We want to have a police department where all law-abiding citizens feel that and teach their kids that police officer is your best friend. And all the people who want to break the law, they fear the police. That's the kind of police department we want. We want city department heads who are committed to zero-based budgeting. When I was on the city council, that was one of my proposals which was accepted by the city council and approved. And every year we made sure that every department produced zero-based budget. Why is that? Because that's how you take out the inefficiencies of the system, what you don't need. Now you don't see that word in the budget if you look at the budget right now. So my friends, that we have great opportunity, we can turn this thing around, and like the lady said, we cannot keep doing the same thing and expect the different results. I think it's about time we should have a private sector experience running the city rather than legislative experience, because that is not going to cut it. I also want to give one other reason. Some lady asked me, look, we as the brown community, okay, we have been really not proactive enough to make sure that we have a seat at the table and we get empowerment for the communities. Okay, we don't want to take anything from anybody. I am so much in awe of the Hispanic community, because the Hispanic people I know, and I've worked with tons of them, I find them hardworking, I find them family oriented. I want that they want to make their life better, their family life better, and their surrounding, the area they live in, the city, the country, they're better. But we have one problem, and that's a common problem between Hispanic community, Asian community, Muslim community, that we talk the talk about politics, but when it comes to walk the walk, we are complacent. We don't register and we don't turn out a vote. I tell you, the day Hispanic people start voting, you will see demographic change like you're not even beyond your imagination in the city hall, in the county, in the state, and all across the country. So that's what my job and your job is. One of the reason I want to run this for this position, that I want people from your community and the Asian community and all that to see that it is possible, that we can have the best person from our community get into the elected office and make it better for everybody. One of the things I do, because I'm a businessman in life, that I have all different kinds of people working in my businesses, and I know how great it can be if you have the diversity of the people reflected in the city. One of the things last thing I will say is that city employees are our assets, our treasure. But I want to make sure that if somebody is getting paid by your tax dollars for 8 hours, that they must produce 8 hours of productive work. Yes. Okay? I want to practice meritocracy, not only in employment, but also in contracts. You have to make sure that contracts are given to the best company, best organization, best entity who can provide the best results for you. One thing you will not see, and that was my history when I was in city council, I was sharing with somebody. None of my family, and I have a very large family, I'm blessed with very large family. None of my family member or my close friends were ever allowed to set foot in the city council office. Why? I want to have that wall between my private life and public life. I don't want to go into that slippery slope where some friend of mine think that, okay, I have a friend in the public office and I can get some benefit. No, that's corruption. I saw that corruption when I was growing up in Pakistan, and I want to make sure that when we are in public office, we are in a position of trust, and thus that trust should be enhanced and valued every day. One last thing I will tell you, you all can do it. You all can do it. Go out and talk to your neighbors. And don't just limit yourself talking to Republicans and conservatives. Ask the independent-minded voting people and even the Democrats. Ask them, are you happy the way this city is running? They will tell you they are not happy, because that's what they are telling everybody. And then you tell them that, okay, this is the kind of mayor we want, that MJ Kahn will make sure that city is run with a private sector philosophy and conservative fiscal policy, save money for you, make the city better for you, increase the employment base, and make the city a shining example for rest of the country to follow as to how large cities are run and how large cities are managed. Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here. I appreciate it.
1, 2, 3.